We're talking the number one sign you stayed too long and how to make sure it never happens again. Number one sign that you stayed too long is you look back and you say, why did I waste my time? How could I be so stupid? I have a girlfriend of mine who was involved with a gentleman for, and I use that word loosely, she was involved with a gentleman for a few years. And you know what's crazy, Pence, is this had to have been months and months ago that she and I were chatting, and I was talking about, this was well after my breakup. I was starting to date again, and I met this guy who, you know, said all the nice things, and he seemed to be very attracted to me, which is great. I think every woman, every person wants to feel desired. And yet there were things that I noticed about this guy that I didn't like. He would say things to me like things he wanted me to do for him. And I was picking up on these little signs, and I thought, this isn't a match. And I was telling her about it, and I basically was like, you know what? I am no longer in service of men. Like, I've been an entertainer. I have been in the service industry. I have, even in sales, you're in service of people. And I want to be in service of people in a way that I want to. This person was basically telling me how he wanted me to be in that relationship, or what he wanted me to do for him, to him, if you get my drift. And I was like, no. Like, no, I'm not interested in being of service in that way. Like, it wasn't mutual, it wasn't from a generous spirit. He was just kind of gross, to be honest. Anyway, I was telling her this, and I was making more of a general statement. It was like, based on this experience I had with this person, and I was making a claim, I was being very intentional to the universe, I will no longer be in partnership with anyone that isn't of generous spirit, because I am of generous spirit, and I believe that should be mutual, right? Anyway, I didn't know this. It was after that conversation that she got to thinking and went to this relationship that she was in and said to this man, you know, are we in a partnership? This is what I'm looking for in a relationship, and this is what I expect, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page. And he was like, no, that's not how I see it at all. And again, she said after the fact to me, why did I waste so much time? How could I be so stupid? And I said, whoa. Like, yes, you stayed too long, and it was never a waste of time, because now you get to rebuild based on the experiences you had. It's not like you didn't learn something from that situation, correct? So the number one sign that you stayed too long is that you're questioning your smarts, sanity, or you're saying the words, why did I waste my time? What a waste of time. How could I be so stupid? That is your number one sign. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying learn from that and never do that again. And that is what we do in my coaching program. We get you back to feeling confident. Look back on your life experiences, learn from those life experiences, and now have proper boundaries. And you have the self-esteem that when you meet someone and it doesn't feel like a match, you can very confidently say, I don't want this relationship. I like you, or I even love you, or we have crazy chemistry, and it's not a match. And I'm not going to stay here hoping it's going to be something it will never be. Do you know how many times my mom said that to me? In my previous relationship, my mom would say, I don't think he's ever going to be any different than he is now. And I was like, always hopeful. Because that's women, like, successful women are successful because they have tenacity and hope and grit, and they believe in things, and they believe that they can put in the effort. And when it's not matched, you get to a certain point where you're like, am I wasting my time? Am I a dum-dum here? Anyway, so the coaching that we do together is to rebuild your self-esteem. Make sure you never stay too long. And we establish how to make sure that you never do that again. That you very quickly pick up on things that aren't right for you and are not meeting. They're not in alignment. It's not you're a bad person, he's a bad person. It's just a bad match. We are not in alignment. This is not personal. Nice to meet you. I will not be staying too long anymore. All right. If you are ready to reclaim your standards and make sure that you never stay too long again, comment below. You know how to find me. You can DM me. You can go to morganbarkus.com. Make sure you're following my podcast, Your Unapologetic Life. I'm in all the places, on the YouTube, on the everything. So anyway, look into my coaching program, get on my schedule, we'll have a chat, and we'll make sure that you never stay too long again.